for me, I had a number of friends that kept saying to me, Glenn, you got to come to Stockholm. There's a beautiful prize. It's called the Polar Prize. It's like a creative think tank, people bouncing ideas around, and it's a celebration of music for music's sake. And of course, this is of great interest to me. And I'm a record producer signed to Sony and Universal, depending on the territory. I'm a classical pianist as well, and I'm always very open-minded to situations like this where you can meet wonderful people and great minds. And the Polar Talks today were fantastic, and for me this has been a very refreshing trip, just because where you normally get, I was coming back from Kazakhstan just before Stockholm. I had to perform at the Muse TV Awards, which is like their Russian Grammys essentially. So I was on no sleep whatsoever. I took the first flight from Astana to Stockholm, and where you get a lot of the music ceremonies are always predicated on here's an award, here's a performance, here's an award, here's an award, here's a performance, here's an award, so on and so on. Whereas here it's, today as we saw in the theater, there's all these wonderful talks with great minds and different technologies and talking about music and art, and there was also those talks on fashion for a while as well. And for me personally, this Polar Prize is fantastic. It's a celebration of music for and everything that surrounds it. It's beautiful minds as well. I've met so many interesting people, and everybody has different specialties, and just to bounce ideas around is for me very inspiring. And I've had a wonderful time so far, and I can't wait for tomorrow as well. This is my first time coming to the Polar Prize, so I came here with a completely blank canvas, so to speak, and I'm very inspired. I've met some wonderful people, and this is really what I guess a prize should be about, is like a think tank of sorts, right? And coming up with ideas and bouncing them around and seeing what going with where the wind takes you and seeing what can blossom from that. And I find that to be a very beautiful thing. For me, this has just been, of course, when we were kids, always growing up with that music and listening to it. And, it's wonderful also aside from just Stig Anderson, who is a great musician, there's so many other musicians I hadn't even heard about before that I'm being introduced to today and listening to what they do. And there was a talk where they were hearing about that post-World War II German music with the vocals, the 2-hour vocal ad-libs and the harmonies, and it's just it's so much. There's just so much to absorb and digest, and of course that montage with Stig Anderson was fantastic, and to hear the story as well of him coming from such humble roots with his mother, and him growing up and turning into such an amazing songwriter it's humbling for me, because it's something to aspire to look at these greats and these great artists and say, oh well, I hope one day to have accomplished something like that myself. I hope one day. And the Polar Prize, I was coming also from the Juno Awards a couple months ago, where Rush, the big famous Canadian band that we have, Geddy Lee was making a speech, and he was so humble, such a beautiful soul. And I could see also that resonate and parallel also the Stig Anderson story too, where it's like they've accomplished so much and they're so humble and truly passionate about their craft. And that to me is very inspiring, and I only hope to aspire to be like that as I grow and get to new chapters in my life and my music.